Welcome. Thanks for your presence. If you are enjoying this, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps joy and inspiration move forth into the world. Good morning and welcome, 1,000 welcomes, and it's wonderful to be together, meditating together with you all. The topic today is spiritual lightning. So how does that sound? We're opening to the energy of spiritual lightning, and I'll share some scriptures very shortly. I just want to weave in, for anyone who joined midstream, we started off our meditation with a teaching from the Talmud. The teaching tells each of us that for every blade of grass, there is an angel whispering, grow, grow. And so for each of us, that same presence of divine support is present, always, for each of us. No matter the external conditions, no matter the internal conditions that we are encountering within ourselves, there is the invisible energy of divine support present always, whispering to each of us, grow, grow. So our invitation, we're inviting our hearts to open to this energy of self-expansion. As we open to this energy of self-expansion, we will be circulating what is radiance, what is kindness, what is laughter, what is peace, what is joy, what is light, what is generosity. And so we are also directly encountering the energy of divine abundance, the reality of divine abundance in our own lives, in our encounters with other humans as well. So we're meditating on this topic of spiritual lightning, opening to this energy of growth and expansion, and connecting always to the way that the divine, the energy of the invisible, the energy of the infinite, is pouring itself forth into us. And as we open our hearts, purify our hearts, so that only that energy of divine kindness and radiance shares through us, that energy of self-expansion, that energy of divine abundance will also silently and spontaneously, naturally share through us wherever we are in our daily lives. So we meditate very joyfully, very gratefully in that awareness, in that open-heartedness. The Easter lilies, we also began by noting that they make visible the luminous presence of love. Love that is beyond measure, love that is beyond human form. And so I'm just inviting you to notice that these lilies are here as gifts of love made visible. So every lily is a gift from a meditation community friend, meditation community participant, offered in love, in celebration, in recognition, in honoring of a beloved one. And you can feel the love of those who are being remembered in these lilies. It is here. And so if you didn't already notice it, I invite you to open your hearts and just notice there is so much love here, made visible in these lilies and sharing itself with all of us. And this again is that law of self-expansion, that law of circulation, that law of divine abundance. We cannot share love without also allowing that love to circulate back to us. It's not always in a one-to-one form. So I'll just acknowledge it might be that you are kind to a human who is not currently capable of expressing kindness in return to you. Kindness will return to you. You are moving in the energy of kindness every time you choose kindness. And so the laws of energy are limitless, boundless, always present there in divine support of you. So for each of us, the question always in our experiences in time and space is, am I consciously in contact with limitless light is the foundation of my life. Unconditional love is the ground of my being. It is the ground I stand upon. It is the air I breathe. It is the sun that shines upon me. It is the smile that greets me and the smile of every face that I encounter that is smiling. And also, if I encounter a face that is frowning or that is crying, it is in that face too. And so come back to that teaching from the Talmud. For every blade of grass, there is an angel whispering, grow, grow. That is true for the blade of grass when the blade of grass has perfect balance of sun and rain. That is true for the blade of grass when the blade of grass has too much water, not enough water, too much sun, not enough sun. And so for each of us, if you have been feeling like you have been having too much water, not enough water, too much sun, not enough sun, we are invited still to remain open-hearted, still to remain in contact with, yes, that is so in the realm of time and space, and limitless light and unconditional love is still the ground that I am standing on. Boundless, immeasurable love is still my being, my foundation. And in that energy, I live and move and breathe and have my being. And so in this awareness, we're able to navigate wisely and skillfully, generously, with inspired joy and kindness, everything that we encounter in time and space. So I have a funny story that made me burst out laughing when I came across it yesterday. And then I'll share some scriptures. So in time and space, you have to keep your sense of humor. Please, please keep your sense of humor. And so this is something that just made me burst out laughing. It was, someone had posted these two photos, and the two photos were of a human in an interior of a coffee shop, and the human was wearing a fox costume. And behind the human in the coffee shop wearing a fox costume, you can kind of look out the window and you can see like these green leafy trees, these parked cars, this peaceful looking street. And the caption on these photos said, 3rd year anniversary, working at a coffee shop at 6 a.m. and my first customer is a woman in a fox costume preparing to surprise chase her daughter, who is terrified of mascots, down a Chicago street. So the humanness of it all, the joy of it all, and what the yogis tell us, it's always the Divine Mother in a fox costume, chasing us down the street. Whatever we have been terrified of, in the end, after we move through the terror of shrieking at 6 a.m., as our own mother chases us down the street, wearing a fox costume, the mask comes off, and we see, oh, it was only my mom. God bless my mom if my mom did that. It was only the divine appearing to me in that guise, appearing to me in that costume. And so when we have that awareness, then we're able to calm down our fight or flight response. We're able to move past the fear. We're able to encourage ourselves, comfort ourselves, be steady in the midst of whatever we encounter in daily life. And then sometimes we're the person working at the coffee shop at 6 a.m. on our first day. And our first task is to make coffee for this wonderful, inspired, slightly crazy mother who's about to embark upon this expression. It's odd expression, but it's an expression of her love for her daughter and her connection with her daughter. So for each of us, the question is, am I able to look past all appearances to see the divine everywhere? Am I able to look past the appearance of anguish and betrayal and suffering and shame and blame and humiliation and pain, and see that all of that is also the energy of unconditional love and limitless light in motion? That's where these scriptures are. They're asking us, can we see that? And so you all know the story of Jesus in the garden. He doesn't want to go through what he knows he's going to go through. and he prays, and his sweat falls like drops of blood. He feels anguished. He feels betrayed. He does not want what comes next, that he knows next must happen. Does this sound familiar to any human? It's making visible what it's like to be in time and space. So when you connect with the universal truth that that story is making visible, it's telling you, whatever you are afraid of, the divine is still present. Whatever you are resisting, the divine is still present. If you have known betrayal, if you have known anguish, if you have felt isolated, if you have felt separate, if you have felt like you don't want what the divine is asking you to move through, you are still a beloved child of God. And that unconditional, limitless love and that boundless light, that spiritual strength and courage are still present with you, whatever your garden is, and whatever your journey is, and whatever comes next for you. Jesus also makes visible a wonderful way to work with human resistance, human reluctance, that energy that wants to drag its heels and hold back and not align with what the divine is asking of us. His prayer is, if it be thy will, let this cup pass from me, but not my will, thy will be done. And so he makes visible as well, it's completely human to have a preference, completely human to express that preference. You only need to express it once. The divine already hears and knows exactly what you are expressing. And then give it to the divine. Then say to the divine, actually, now that I recall, this body belongs to the divine in the first place. This heart already belongs to the divine. This mind can never be separate from the divine. So why would I want to fight what is larger than this body? What is larger than this human heart? What is larger than this mind? That would be like trying to fight Niagara Falls. Exhausting and not very possible. And so Jesus immediately self-corrects. He expresses his preference, but then he says, not my will, thy will be done. And this is a perfect reminder for each of us. Wherever we have that resistance, be honest with yourself. Be spiritually courageous. Name it. Say to the divine, it seems to me you're asking this of me. My preference would be this, but not my will, thy will be done. And as we do that, we also open to that underlying foundation of spiritual courage that allows us to keep moving forward, no matter what it is that we are asked to move forward through. So then that's where these scriptures pick up. So one is from Luke 24, and the other one is from John. And I actually did not write down the chapter, but I can look and tell you next week. This is when Jesus has risen. And so what this makes visible is that if we keep moving beyond the pair of opposites, never the self was born, nor will it ever die, nor having existence will it ever cease to exist. Birthless, deathless, changeless, eternal, ever itself is the soul. It is not destroyed by the destruction of the body. That's a teaching from the Bhagavad Gita. It is a truth also expressed in these scriptures. On the first day of the week, very early in the morning, the women took the spices they had prepared and went to the tomb. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb, but when they entered, they did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. While they were wondering about this, suddenly 2 men in clothes that gleamed like lightning stood beside them. In their fright, the women bowed down with their faces to the ground. But the men said to them, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here. He has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still with you in Galilee. The Son of Man must be delivered over to the hands of sinners, be crucified, and on the third day be raised again." Then they remembered his words. When they came back from the tomb, they told all these things to the 11 and to all the others. It was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and the others with them who told this to the apostles. But they did not believe the women because their words seemed to them like nonsense. Peter, however, got up and ran to the tomb. Bending over, he saw the strips of linen lying by themselves, and he went away, wondering to himself what had happened. So the phrase spiritual lightning comes from this first teaching. And what this tells us is that sometimes when the divine appears to us, it is so bright, that energy of spiritual light is so luminous that we actually find it hard to look upon with human eyes. So if you're asking yourself, what does the divine look like? This is a teaching that says sometimes the divine is so shining that our human eyes almost cannot comprehend what they are able to see. The teaching is also telling us this can happen in the midst of daily life. This can happen not just once, but every time we look past the illusion of separateness. What Jesus makes visible is that each of us is asked to die to the illusion of separateness. And as we do that, we remember eternal life and connectedness beyond all human limitation. We're remembering what is true and what is real always. And this is a story that makes visible that what is true and what is real always is present. It is available. It is the light within each of us. It is the reality that what appears to be a tomb from human eyes, in truth, is a womb. It is a rebirth. It is new life. It is the law of self-expansion in flowing motion. So we're asked to let go of what seems to be ending from human eyes, and to be aware that whatever seems to be ending from human eyes, there is a new beginning from this expanded awareness, from divine vision. All of us are ongoing. From the perspective of divine vision, we go on and on and on and on. And this is true if we are here in a human body, and it is true when we move beyond this human form. And this is a story that makes that visible. It's also telling us that the divine will always be appearing in unprecedented, unexpected ways, in ways that are expanding our awareness of what is possible. And so the divine is being born in the lives of each of us now. And we're invited to notice, am I noticing? Am I paying attention? Am I appreciating the ways the divine is being born in my life right now? Am I noticing the beauty and the kindness and the luminosity? Am I noticing the grace? And by grace, that's simply the love and the wisdom that is vaster than the human. Am I allowing the love and the wisdom that is vaster than the human to be fully present in my body, in my heart, in my mind, in my life? If so, the way that I am encountering the world will always be fresh. It will always be bright. It will always be new. It will always be this unique expression of the Om in flowing motion. The yogis say that the Om is the universe. The stillness pours forth Om, and that's what this universe is. You are a beautiful sound wave appearing as a human. And when you remember that, it's lighter and easier to be the energy of harmony, the energy of joy, the energy of kindness, the energy of radiance, the energy of good humor, the energy of generosity in daily life. The next teaching says that sometimes the divine appears to us in the form of spiritual lightning, light that is so bright it can't be looked at with human eyes. And sometimes the divine appears to us in other ways. And so listen to this teaching. It's a very interesting one. Now Mary stood outside the tomb crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw two angels in white, seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and the other at the foot. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." So I'm just allowing you to feel the humanness of that expression. It is a feeling of loss. It is a feeling of separation from what you love so dearly, from what you treasure with all of your heart. I'll just read it again. "Why are you crying?" the angels asked. "They have taken my Lord away, and I don't know where they have put him." And that is every human that has ever known loss, that has ever felt separated from the ones we love, from what we love. And the divine says this to each of us. At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize that it was Jesus. He asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it you are looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him. I will get him." She's saying, "I will do anything to find the one I love. I will go anywhere. I will leap oceans. I will lift mountains for love." And this is the love within each of us being expressed in this particular teaching. Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. This tells you that the resurrected divine is here. It's right where you are, and you're not seeing it. You're thinking it's the gardener, because the resurrected divine also looks perfectly ordinary. Guess who the resurrected divine is? It's you. Every time you move past the limits of what seems humanly possible, you are the resurrected divine. And so one of the universal teachings that this passage makes available to all of us is that resurrection happens all the time. Resurrection happens every single time we move past what seem to be limitations, what seem to be separation, what seems to be lack, what seems to be loss, what seems to be the illusion of death, what seems to be impossible from human perspective. This is saying the divine is right there. You're not seeing it. The divine is right in front of you. The divine is calling your name. Allow yourself to hear the way the divine is calling your name. The divine knows you. Your loved ones who are not here in the physical, they know exactly where you are, exactly what you are feeling, exactly the choices you are making. Their love and their wisdom is with you. Their strength and their encouragement, their caring is with you, not just on Easter, made visible in these lilies, and beautifully in Easter lilies, made visible, but always, every moment, that love and that connection and that support is with you. Always your loved ones are whispering to you, grow, grow. Always your loved ones are saying, you are called by name, by the divine. You are known exactly as you are, and in the absolute innocence and purity of the light within you, independent of how you feel in your physical form, independent of whatever your emotional reality is right now. whatever your thinking patterns are right now, whatever you are aware of in your life and world and relationships right now, the divine is calling you by name. And the divine is asking each of us, am I open to hearing that divine call? This tells you it's subtle. It's right where you are every time you open your eyes. The divine is always speaking to us. There's not a single moment that the divine is not calling to us and providing us support and caring and protection and love. And so what we're asking ourselves is, can I purify my vision so that I see only the divine everywhere, always? And the yogic teachings make it clear that this is possible for every human. And the way that we do this is to expand our universal caring, our universal kindness, our universal love, so that we don't confine our love to those we humanly like. We don't confine our caring and our kindness to those we find easy to deal with. We expand our hearts until we are able to be living and moving and breathing and having our being in a field of light and peace and radiance and good humor. And we're able to feel the same field of light and kindness and peace and radiance and good humor is present always, everywhere, in all the human faces that we look upon, and we say, I just love you so effortlessly. And then in all the faces that we look upon and we say, you inspire me to meditate some more. The divine radiance is present everywhere, always. And so we're invited to purify our hearts, to purify our minds, so that we are directly encountering that sacredness. When we are directly able to encounter that sacredness right at the heart of every being, we live the reality of non-separateness. We know that death is an illusion. We know that we go on and on and on, and so does everyone else. And so we know that we are supported by the love and the strength, the kindness, the courage of our ancestors. We are supported by all of the yogis who have walked this way before us, the radiance of Swami Nityananda, the radiance of all the karma yogis who have ever been here, the radiance of the karma yogis who is here now. It is greeting and supporting all of us always. And so we are inviting ourselves to remember a teaching from Swami Nityananda. At the end of all of it, when everything seems to crumble, when everything seems to break, when everything seems to fall away, the light is what remains. The darkness vanishes. The light remains. God bless us all.